What's up, good people? It's your boy Jay Free coming back at you again. You know, again, we discussing topics, just trying to um, wake people up to the things that's going on around us, make us more aware, so we can begin to come together on one form and begin to strike action. I'm noticing everywhere around me, the conversation is continuing to be about the gay marriage, and I'm not going to get onto that. The only thing I want to say about it is, do y'all understand what I mean when I say it's a distraction? Because at this point, who cares what somebody else do? Right now, it's so much other more important stuff that we need to be focused on, that's going on around us. And then, not just here, what I'm saying, locally, but also abroad. You know what I'm saying? And so, but we so blind and paying attention to the more minute everyday today affairs and worrying about gay rights and gay agenda that we forgot about what's really going on. But that's why the distractions are put out here, and they meant to accomplish and do exactly what it is that they're doing. And so, we have been talking about breaking down the Willie Lynch syndrome and breaking down the making of a slave and its effects on our community today, how it translates. And so we went through so much talking about how they planned this as long-term economic success, that they put scientific thought and theory behind it. Like they really put in great effort. They went to great extents and studied like a lawyer or a doctor would study their practice, because slave making was their business. We talked about how they said it was for the long-term economic success, how they talked about once they put in their perpetual cycle would rotate again perpetually forever. And the cycle they talked about reversing the roles of the male and female of the brute savage, which is us, the nigger, as they said. And they talked about completely reversing the role so that the male would no longer be protector and provider, but he would be behind and scared, put in his place, knowing whenever he steps out of line, he'd be put back in his place or face the possibility of being ripped apart or torn apart, which is what we see. We're going to get on. And what it did was created a frozen psychological state for the female, where she became independent and easily motivated and manipulated by those who had her life in their hands, those who control power. And so we talked about how they said they would put this play once they got this cycle rolling, and they even went to the efforts of saying not to focus on the beginning generations, but that it would be for long-term longevity down the lines. You know what I'm saying? Which is what leads us to now. And they said that once they put the play in the plan again, that it would go on in this axis forever. But let's note the scientific effort that we ended with the last time I talked to y'all, when they said that although it would go, now remember, they put scientific theory and thought behind it. So with a plan so extensive, they also had to make sure that there would be no holes, no gaps, that there would be no chance for failure. And they found a hole or a gap where they said in there that the experts had warned them that there could be a possibility of a phenomenon occurring, and that the phenomenon would be that the mind has the ability to recorrect itself over a period of time if it comes in contact with some origin of its history. So if the brain could find out the beginnings of its own history, then it would, if it comes in contact, then it could begin the process of restoration on its own. In other words, it's our natural process. It's birthed in us to be protector and provider, and it's birthed in women to be dependent on us as protector and provider, as the lead and the head. And that if we could come in touch with that foundation of our history, that the brain would recorrect itself. And they described it as as a major phenomenon, and that remember now, the tools that were put in place was meant to be established over the process of generations. So that means this don't come unfolded overnight. The light bulb don't just go off in the brain, boop, oh, I'm woke. And so we have people that claim to be conscious that aren't really fully aware, but yet still sleepwalk. And then we have those that are just completely unaware, completely sleep. And so we have to begin to use these tools to get them into people's hands. So as they talked about this phenomenon occurring, the scientific thought they put into it, they said that in order for us to maintain the stronghold that we will put on their mind, understand now, they said in order for us to maintain the stronghold, what we will have to do is that we'll have to create a multiplicity of phenomena, of illusions, so that long-term success of our plan would be continually carried out, because once we instill these phenomena of illusions, then there's so many of them that what it'll do is it'll conflict with their history. So when they do come in contact with the origin of their history, it'll conflict with what we have taught them and told them to be true, because we will have embedded this. You have to remember, this was a plan to cover the whole. In other words, we manipulate and we take them and we turn the complete cycle around, and we flip them and make them backwards. That way we're able to control them by having the female out in front leading, because she raises them now from a child. So now we no longer have mentally strong men that really understand and conceptualize and can process and accomplish what needs to accomplish in the community, because they're raised by the mother, and the mother is raising them through a subconscious fear of his life, knowing that she has been broken, so she doesn't want to see him go through what happened to the other male nigga. Remember, the tar and feather, ripped apart by horses. And so through the subconscious upbringing, through generations, it's already in the bed. So the female is in the front and the man is in the back, and it's completely reversed and it's backwards. And they said, but if we were to come in touch with our history, meaning if we would see a normal family structure, or if we would see, just the nature, even now within us, so to say, within us men, it's just in us now to protect and provide anyway. That's why we go crazy and do some of the things that we do, because we're not being fed. We like a dog. If you got a pit bull and you just leave him, just in a room, I mean, that joker got to get out and run and play. You know what I'm saying? He needs exercise. He needs to be able to feed his instincts. And so they trap us and keep us bottled up. And so in this process, in order to keep us, when we do come in touch with our history, they said we'll create these multiplicity of illusions and phenomena. So when they do come in contact, it'll conflict with their psyche. In other words, cognitive dissonance will come into play. In other words, we'll be so in touch with the lies that have been told to us that we will even lie to ourselves and convince ourselves that the lie is still the truth, regardless of what evidence is presented before us, even regardless of what our own gut instincts tell us, because we will feel like the spirit is moving me because of the chemical imbalance within the brain that is being processed and cast down through the manipulation of our unconscious mind that they have control through racism, white supremacy. So Christianity and all of these religions and different things that I talked about, how they come into play in the conflict. So now you take somebody and you trying to present truth and trying to present information to them, and no matter what you say, they just have an answer for you because the Bible said that you the devil. So now, for instance, voodoo and psychics and energy and anything dealing with our ancient ancestral spirituality is considered demonology and devil. But yet Christ, who is the devil, the Bible and its religion, which was created and instituted, and the Bible given to us by the same king that gave us the book of demonology, but that's not the devil. The lies that are fed, that's not the devil. However, our ancient ancestral spiritual religions are the devil, and that this is what we're taught to believe. And so this is how the illusions affect us and keep us hindered. If you look up in the Webster's dictionary, the term for religion, the definition for religion, it says it is a spiritual constraint, to tie back or to constrain, that is to hold back, to hinder from full spiritual progress. So if this is the definition of religion that is in the New Webster's Dictionary, the 11th edition, then tell me, what are we doing with religion? If we've read through this Willie Lynch letter and we've broken it down and we've studied their plan for long-term economic success and how they intentional to flip things around and to play on our psyche and our subconscious, at what point in time I will have to continue to ask, does that include Christianity as being anything for our good? Why do you think they would force a white God, the image in our brain, if it were for our good? Because that image of that white Jesus subliminally plays in our brain, which is why a brother will steal on another brother for looking at him wrong or for stepping on his J's, but will turn around and say yes sir to the same little corny white dude that do the same thing. A white dude step on his shoes, oh, it's okay sir, no problem, no worries about it. You know what I'm saying? But a brother do a dang bro, what's up with you? You know what I'm saying? It's the matter of respect, and it's unconscious. We don't think about it, but if we would pay attention to the lives and the things going around us, it's the same reason why when I talk about the physically strong and mentally weak, it's the same reason why the hardest nigga, you look at him wrong. You take Debo for instance. Debo a mug, ain't he? Debo will knock you out. He'll rob you. He'll whatever. He knock the nigga out and take his bike and ready to fight his daddy too. Well, we know Debo a big nigga, but how Debo end up in jail? He got arrested, right? So I'm using, a little bit of comedy, but the reality is we got niggas everywhere that's willing to shoot, kill, and steal, and the consequence is jail or hell. So why is it when the Jakes pull you over, or when a white man disrespect you, or when a situation in life disrespects you because of the color of your skin, why you turn around and walk away at that situation, but you want to fight me because I looked at you wrong, or because, whatever the reason be. Not me, I'm just saying. So this is what we talking about. This is how the process have worked in their favor against us. So we out here killing each other, taking each other out with no understanding of why, over colors, over street beef, over this, over that. And I understand the years it's being now, so they fighting each other because now my family been killed, and I understand all of that. I'm not taking that away. I'm talking about the root principle to all of it. And I'm simple with Christianity right now, because the next videos I'm getting into after today, we're going to start breaking Christianity down and how it all ties down in the lie behind it. I just had to, get into closing this. And so what they've done is racism, white supremacy, as we talked about before. It's a structural system, a global system of organized behavior. They control the thoughts, they control people's speech, they control people's action. And the way it works is they dominate all areas of regular people activity. They dominate us in economics, in education, entertainment, labor, law, politics, religion, sex, and war. They dominate us in all these areas. And so you got the white supremacy power system, you got the supremacy culture, and then you got together the system and the culture, and you have the power and the system create the culture. The power meaning those that are behind the scenes pulling the strings, those that own the entertainment industry, those that own the media outlets and resources, those that control the banks and the corporations that hire and fire and create the laws, those that pull the strings behind politics. Politics is nothing but smoke and mirrors, just like the Wizard of Oz. The wizard sits behind the screen and he was never what you thought him to be, but he had everybody fooled. That's all politics is. It's smoke and mirrors, man. Behind the scenes, the wizard that's really pulling the strings. This is the power And the power creates this system that we're talking about, that the strings that they're pulling. And this system is what generates the culture. They're what says what's cool. This is why everybody's talking about gay rights right now with the distraction, because they create the culture. They create what we talk about and what we think about and what we say and what we do. They the ones that funnel it out through subliminal messaging. And so as their system is into play and they pushing it out, they have created what we call racism. And so this is why we kill each other and fight each other, because subliminally we have no value for our own lives. This is why we allow and tolerate the hatred that comes towards us, because on the inside of ourselves, we're disgusted with ourselves because we don't know who we really are, because our roles have been reversed. You understand what I'm saying? And then on the other hand, the white people feel privileged and feel like everything is supposed to be theirs and it's supposed to be this way, and that we just in the way. And this is why they wanting to kill us, talking about they taking over the country, because they feel like it belongs to them, and they don't understand that they stole it from us in the first place. You know what I'm saying? But and this is how the power system, racism, white supremacy, the culture, and how it all affects us. This is what we living in right now in 2015. This is the shit that we dealing with. And so while we dealing with these things, people are talking about all kind of issues all around us and not focusing on the main fact. We got to find out the root, people, because we only as strong as our weakest link. You see what I'm saying? And right now, everybody knows that we are completely separated and torn apart. We got more coons than we got niggas that's really ready to do something. You see what I'm saying? And then the youth that we could have with the energy that they have that's on fire, they just don't got the right leaders in place, because these cowards out here that don't understand the street and thug mentality, but also don't understand this bottled up anger. See, this is all supposed to happen right now. We in a time when it's supposed to happen. The energy, the tide is turning, just like he said. They knew the phenomena would occur where our brains would come in contact with the origin of its history, and they tried to put it in a play to change it. And so this is where religion came. But people have been battling Christianity and other religions for years. I'm just one that's talking against it now, and it still has such a stronghold and a grip on us, but yet so many of us don't practice it to where it doesn't affect us the way it used to. However, we still are divided, and they are conquering. And this was their mission and their plan. And we have to come together on one accord so we can begin to fight against them, y'all. And I ain't talking about just physical, but we have to begin to be mentally strong. The very thing that they tried to keep us from. You see what I'm saying? The reason why brothers like this is no longer around. You know what I'm saying? Because this is their intention and their plan to devise to keep us away and keep the strong voice weak and keep the weak strong. And this is why you got these coons out here steady standing behind them, supporting and forgiving and thanking them, and talking about issues of no concern when the major issue is at hand. And the issue that is at hand is shit is fucked up and we need to get it back right. Period. We need our shit back. We need our shit back. Period. We need our shit back. Meaning we need our people in rightful position, guiding and directing. And how do we do it, people? We don't got to use no forced reality. We got everything we need right now. Every resource that is necessary is available and at our disposal if we could all work together on one united front. So that's the key and that's the goal. That's why I work on breaking down, exposing the Willie Lynch and showing Christianity and other forms of how it affects us today, because this is what we got to do. We have to become awake and see why I hate my brother, why I hate myself, why I'm a thug, and why I'm doing the stuff that I'm doing that's unnecessary, and why I'm not paying attention. Why am I so focused on getting my paper and my money instead of focused on the brotherhood and focused on what I can be doing for the community? As long as it don't touch me and affect me directly, I ain't concerned about it. That's the mentality we have. And so we watch the news and watch what's happening and see what's going on around us, but yet people still ain't concerned enough to want to do nothing about it. And I can't even understand or fathom how you can sit back and watch your brother die and not want to do nothing about it. That makes absolutely no sense to me, because Some of the people that we watching die was sitting just like you. So what, you wait till they come to your door to kill you before you decide to stand up? When I see them coming, man, I try to devise a plan to stop it before it comes. That's why I believe I'm still here today. And I hope for the rest of us that we begin to wake up and pay attention. It's your boy Jay Free, man. I love you. Y'all be blessed, man.